I used to think rock bottom was just an expression, a place people talk about when they're down on their luck, but never a real, tangible thing. Now I know better. Rock bottom has a smell, stale beer, cheap takeout. It has a sound, silence, broken by the hum of the air conditioner in the empty home and the occasional crack of knuckles against drywall. And it has a feeling. It's the cold weight that settles into your chest when the job's gone, when the house is gone, and the person you thought would stay forever walks out the door without looking back. This is where I am now. My name is Michael, and this is my story. I had it all once. A good job, a house, and Rachel, the love of my life. Rachel was beautiful. The kind person who would light up the room just by being in it. She had this way of seeing through all the noise and pulling the best out of me, even when I doubted myself. She was the reason I ended up at the company in the first place, pushing me to apply when I was content with less. She believed in me. She always said that I had so much more potential than I gave myself credit for. And she was right. I became a senior manager at one of the top 10 AI tech companies in the entire country. It wasn't about the paycheck, though the money was more than I ever imagined I'd make. My job was to manage a team of developers working on advanced machine learning systems, streamlining algorithms to make them more efficient. My role was a niche, part problem solver, part strategist. I had this knack for taking complex AI models and figuring out how to optimize them, making them faster, smarter, more intuitive. But it wasn't just about the code. I always find ways to make life easier for my team. I built tools that automated the more tedious parts of their work, freeing them up to focus on the bigger stuff. I was the guy they come to when things get tough. People liked me for that. I wasn't just another manager handling down orders. I was in the trenches with them, solving problems side by side. We were working on cutting-edge AI systems for predictive analytics, even smart technologies for healthcare. It was the kind of work that could change industries, maybe even the world. And I loved it. I felt important, like I was contributing to something that mattered. But then, out of nowhere, the company was bought out by a massive conglomerate. Overnight, everything shifted. They didn't care about the years I put in, the systems I improved, or the team I led. To them, I was just another name on the list, another cost that they didn't want to carry. So, they let me go. And just like that, it was all gone. The future I've been building with Rachel, the career that I thought was untouchable, it all slipped away through my fingers. I lost the house, a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom dream house that I could no longer afford. And after that, everything spiraled. My truck, brand new and shiny just months ago, became a reminder of everything slipping away. Desperate, I stayed up for 24 hours straight, submitting one-click job applications to every tech company I could think of. But here's the thing. They were all connected to the same conglomerate that fired me. No one would give me an interview. My skills didn't matter anymore. My old coworkers and I were even in a group chat talking about how much this all sucks. Some file for bankruptcy. Some have to move across the country to return back to their parents' basement. Some fell into hard liquors and drugs. The world moved on without us. In the end, the only job I can ever get was a generic grocery store down the street. They hired me on the same week. I had to wear a uniform that smelled like stale produce, dealing with rude customers who looked right through me. And my boss, he treated me like I was worthless, like I never managed million-dollar projects or led a team of brilliant engineers. Rachel, oh God, I felt so embarrassed. She'd been a stay-at-home fiancé, supported me as I worked my way up. Now, in this tough economy, she had to get a job too. I needed her help with the bills because my paycheck wasn't enough to cover the mortgage or the truck payments. I hated it. Hated the love of my life had to pick up the slack for me. The man who once had everything in the palm of his hands. But my sweet Rachel didn't care. She didn't complain. She still believed in me like I could somehow climb out of this pit that I'd fallen into. She kept saying things would turn around and that I would just had to be patient. But every day it felt like I was falling further away from the life that we were supposed to build together. Then came the worst day at work. I was already hanging by a thread, but that day, it broke. I was stocking shelves when I noticed a customer hiding behind an aisle corner. He was fumbling a water bottle. I was watching him, and he deliberately poured it on the floor, then threw himself down like an actor in some bad infomercial. I knew exactly what he was doing, and when I approached him, he started groaning, holding his back, claiming he slipped. I tried to protest and tell my boss the truth, that the guy had done it to himself. It should be on the cameras, I said, but the cameras were so ancient that it only recorded in 240p, but the footage was useless, just a blurry mess of pixels. You couldn't tell if he slipped or he'd fallen from the sky. My boss, though, didn't care. In fact, he seemed to enjoy it. He took the customer's side, yelling at me in front of everyone, telling me to take the blame or else I'd lose my job.
Apologize to the man,
he barked,
or you're done here.
The customer smirked, demanding money for compensation or threatened to sue me personally. And that's when I saw it. I saw it. The wink my boss gave him, like this whole thing was some kind of setup. It was a game to them, a scam. He knew it. He knew he slipped. And that's when I snapped. You two can go fuck yourselves. I spat, my voice loud enough for the whole store to hear. I'm sick of this shit. I quit. The customers froze, watching as I stormed out, leaving my boss behind, standing there, red-faced and humiliated. But quitting didn't make anything better. If anything, it pushed me deeper into the pit. No matter how many times I tried, job applications, interviews, it didn't matter. I was drowning in silence. When I got home that day, I was seething with anger. I clenched my fists, trying to hold it all in, but it bubbled over. I punched the wall, the drywall cracking beneath my bloody knuckles. Then I screamed to my pillow, muffling the sounds of my rage, swearing like a sailor who just lost his ship. The anger kept building, tearing me through like a storm. I didn't realize Rachel had come home early. She must have seen the holes in the wall, the bed a mess where I just threw things, and my head was filled with loud sounds that I didn't hear her. She tried to touch my shoulder, trying to calm me down. But when she did, I reacted. Too fast, too hard. My hand lashed out, and I struck her across the face. The sound of my hand connecting with her cheek was louder than anything else in the room. Rachel, she stumbled back, dizzy, eyes wide with fear, and fell to the floor. I stood there, frozen, horrified at what I'd done. Rach, I whispered, my throat tightened. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. She put her hand up, gently stopping me. Her eyes filled with tears, but she tried to hold them back.
Michael,
she said, her voice shaky.
I know you didn't mean to. I know this isn't you. But I can't do this anymore. I'm scared. And I don't know how to help you.
I took a step towards her, but she pulled back slightly. Her body tense. The realization hit me like a brick. She wasn't just scared of us. She was scared of me. Please, I begged. I'm sorry. I'll fix this. I'll fix everything. But Rachel just shook her head. Her voice barely a whisper.
I'll be at my parents' for a while until you can get yourself together.
She stood up, avoiding my gaze, and wiped her face.
I still love you, but I can't stay here. Not like this. Goodbye, Michael.
I wanted to say something, to beg her not to leave, but the words caught in my throat. I watched her gather a few things, her keys, her purse, and walked out the door, leaving tears behind as it still fall to the floor. I just stood there, surrounded by broken walls, the wreckage of everything we built, and now the love of my life is gone. I was alone. It's been 3 days since Rachel left through that front door. Seeing her leave with tears in her eyes and seeing droplets at the floor just broke me. I walked into the bathroom and saw a stranger in the mirror. I honestly thought I saw a monster, but it was just me. I can't keep doing this anymore. I'm broken. I've lost everything. My job, my house, my father, Rachel. My mental health is gone. I don't even recognize myself anymore. Every day feels like a step closer to the edge, and I don't have anything left to hold on to. I was cleaning up the mess in the bedroom, and that's when I saw it. The rope. Dad's old fiber rope. The one he left behind when he helped me move the couch last year. He's gone now. Cancer is a son of a bitch. He was with me on my first breath, and I stood by him during his last. But this rope was still here, a part of him, a way out. Maybe this is how it ends for me. Maybe this is how I make it all stop. No more pain, no more failure, no more shame, just nothing. The thought is so clear now. I can see it. I can feel it. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I have control over something. I won't hurt anyone else. I won't be a burden anymore. Maybe this is the only thing I can fix. I reach for the rope. Maybe this is how it ends. I have no idea how this works, so I just mimic what I saw from the movies. My master bedroom ceiling had those sturdy, crisscross wooden logs. I climbed it once to remove some spider webs for Rachel. I wasn't sure how to tie a rope, so after a quick YouTube search, I figured it out. The entire time I wasn't afraid of the outcome because I knew what was going to happen. I didn't waste any time. I climbed on top of the bed, climbed on the wooden logs to adjust the rope. I made sure my final thoughts were my mom, my dad, and Rachel. I'm so sorry. Darkness, nothingness. Now I stand in a void, so deep it feels like the universe itself is gone. My voice echoes, hollow. Hello? Why am I still here? I can hear myself. Where am I? Wait, what was I doing? Oh, right. What is this place? Then the blackness gives away. I'm standing in some kind of forest. What is going on? The trees are tall, but resemble a wavy, thick shadow. Their branches stretch out like skeletal hands, clawing at the night sky. There's no wind, no sound except my echoing footsteps. Just silence. It's oppressive, pressing down on my chest like the weight of every mistake I've ever made. I don't know how I got here, but my feet start to move. as if I knew where I was supposed to go. I pressed forward, deeper into the darkness. Ahead of me, through the tangled branches and the endless shadows, I see something that makes my stomach drop. A single light cutting through the void. I got closer and I knew what it was. It's my home. The light was coming from a lamp on my nightstand. There, my home, isolated in the middle of the trees like it's plucked from the real world and placed into this shadow realm. The bedroom light glows faintly, casting an eerie light on the dark forest floor. My heart begins to pound, faster and faster, an icy dread creeping up my spine. I know I shouldn't, but my feet moved on their own, dragging me towards the door. I don't even have to open it. The door creaks wide, like it's been waiting for me. Inside, the air feels cold, thick, like the smell of antiseptic and something else. Something metallic and bitter that stings in the back of my throat. My living room looks the same. It's untouched. I notice a man in a badge uniform leaning on the doorway of my bedroom. He's not facing me. Excuse me, you're in my home. Can I help you with something? The man didn't turn around to acknowledge me. Excuse me, hello? I tried to tap him on the shoulder, but I wasn't able to budge him. He just stood still. I looked over his shoulder to see what he was looking at, and my eyes landed on the center of the bedroom, and my breath caught on my chest. I see it. It was me. My lifeless body on the floor being held by a distraught Rachel. My lips quivered. I wanted to scream, but my voice is trapped in my throat. Strangled by the horror of what I'm seeing, I stepped closer, trembling. No. This can't be real. No, this isn't real. It's a dream. A nightmare. Something I could wake up from. I have to wake up. Rachel's on the floor holding my discarded body like a doll, sobbing into her hands. Her shoulders were violently shaking with every heartbreaking gasp. Her beautiful face twisted in agony. I had never seen Rachel like this. The EMTs are now moving, and they all stood around my body, their faces expressionless, like they'd done this 1,000 times before. They don't care that it's me, that my life is gone, that I'm gone. I looked over and I noticed a police in the corner of the bedroom, and they are talking in hushed tones, probably discussing paperwork, the logistics of what to come next. But all I want to see is Rachel. I reached for her, her hand trembling, desperate to touch her, to tell her that I didn't mean it. Rachel, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I whispered, but it feels like screaming. It's really silent in this room. My hand hovers over her shoulder. I was hesitating. What if she turns around and sees me? Will she forgive me? Will she understand? I have to try. I can't let this be the last thing she remembers of me. Broken, lost, and taken by an old fiber rope. I close the distance, my fingers barely brushing her, and she vanishes, just like that. Disappears like smoke blown away by the wind. 1 second she was there, solid and real, and the next, gone, like she was never there at all. No. I screamed, stumbling back. The voice echoes in the emptiness, bouncing up the walls in the dark corners of the room. Panic rises in my chest like a tidal wave. I clawed at the air where she was, grasping at nothing, my mind racing. Rachel, please, come back. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't. But she didn't come back. I could feel it in my bones. She's gone. And there's no getting her back. My legs gave out beneath me, and I collapsed to the floor, staring at the corpse. My corpse. I bury my face in my hands, choking on the guilt, the regret, the unbearable weight of what I'd done. This was supposed to be my escape, my way out of the pain. But instead, I'm trapped here, stuck in this hell where everything I love slips through my fingers, where Rachel is gone forever, and I can't even touch her one last time. Rachel, I'm sorry. I whispered again, but the words feel empty now. And then I hear a voice, low and steady, coming from behind me, shaking me to my core.
If you're so sorry, why did you do it? If you knew the outcome.
I whirled around and there he stands, an ominous figure cloaked in shadow. The darkness seemed to cling around him like a shroud. He's terrifying, not in a way of a monster lunging at you, but in his stillness, his absolute certainty. He belongs here, like he's always been a part of this place. His bony jaw moves slowly. The only part of him that shifts is not just thin skin, it's actual bone. Who are you? I stammer, my voice barely a whisper, my hands trembling.
I am called by many names,
He says, his voice calm, almost gentle, yet full of authority.
Some hate me, others glorify me. But you, Michael, know me well, all too well. I am death.
Death? No, you're not real. You're just in my head. I shouted, stepping back, my feet heavy with fear. Death steps closer, moving without sound or motion. He's more like a shadow than a man, shifting like smoke drifting across the room.
Real or not, you're here, aren't you? You made the choice, Michael. You thought it would endure pain. You thought it was the only escape.
He pauses, his voice unwavering.
But it wasn't the answer.
I shake my head, tears stinging my eyes. I didn't have a choice, I yelled, my voice breaking. Everything was falling apart. My house, my job. Rachel left me. Dad's gone. He's gone. I have nothing. What was I supposed to do? Just keep living through the same misery over and over? Death looks at me, his gaze piercing through my defenses. Though his eyes are just darkness.
You had life, Michael. Breath in your lungs. Time. Hope. But you let the weight of the world convince you otherwise. You chose to end it, thinking it would solve everything. And now, you stand amidst the consequences of that choice.
Consequences? My voice rises, filled with pain and rage. I didn't want this. You don't think I wanted any of this? My father's gone. Rachel's gone. My work, years and years of devotion, is gone. What was the point when no one cared? When no one saw me? Death doesn't flinch. He simply stands there, listening, letting my words wash over him. When he speaks, his voice is quieter, almost sad.
It wasn't about them, Michael. You made the decision long before Rachel left. You allowed the darkness to settle in, and it fed on you. Pain blinded you, and pain does not excuse you from the gift of life. There is always a way forward, even if you cannot see it.
I laughed, bitter and hollow. Forward? There was no forward. I applied to 1,000 jobs. No one wanted me. No one saw me. My voice cracks, a desperate howl escaping my lips. Just get away from me! Leave me alone! Death's gaze remained steady. He lowered his chin as if he was disappointed. He spoke.
Be careful what you wish for, Michael.
Suddenly, everything goes dark. The ground beneath me vanishes, and I'm floating in a void. Endless, silent weightlessness. I see stars, far away, galaxies that stretch into eternity, but I cannot reach them. I feel like I've been here for hours, maybe days. Time has no meaning. It's just nothingness. I try to speak, but my voice doesn't carry. The silence stretches on me, crushing me. Fear starts to bubble inside my chest, and I begin to scream. No words, just pure, desperate cries for help, but nothing comes. There's no one to hear me. No one cares. After an eternity of screams, I break. I sob, my tears floating away from my face, lost in this abyss. Rachel, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I failed you. I failed everyone. The darkness shifts, and suddenly, I am back. I'm lying on the floor of my bedroom. I can see the ceiling, the familiar holes in the wall. What the? I'm okay. I'm okay? My heart pounds, hope and confusion mixing within me. No way. Was I dreaming? Rachel. Rachel! I scrambled to my feet, my legs still shaky. I bursted out in my bedroom, but as soon as I swung it open, I froze. Standing there, massive and unyielding, is Death, his cloaked figure towering over me. I flinched and fell backward, my eyes widening at the sight of the noose still hanging from the ceiling. My body goes cold with dread. No, this isn't real. Please, no. Death steps closer, his voice soft yet commanding.
It was not your job to be seen by the world. Your worth was never theirs to measure. The greatest mistake you made was allowing the world's rejection to become your own.
What? I asked, barely breathing. Death's voice resonates, filling the room.
You spoke of being sorry, Michael. Sorry for failing Rachel.
My eyes open wide. You heard me in that? That nothingness? Death lowers his hood, and I gasped. His face is all bone, hollow eyes, but there's something else there. A strange yet terrifying beauty. And his eyes are dark sockets, yet within them, galaxies. I can see the stars, the same stars I've been floating in. A vastness that has no end. Was I in your eyes? I asked, my voice trembling, the realization dawning.
Yes.
Death says simply. I shake my head, my voice breaking. You don't understand. You're Death. What could you possibly know about life? Death's head tilts, and he steps closer, leaning in, his voice almost a whisper.
More than you, it seems. Life and death are bound together at the exact same time. Why else do you think I am here? There are rules, Michael. Life begins, and I end it. I am the end. But you sought to break that order by taking what was not yours to end. Self-killing is forbidden, and the punishment is eternal.
I swallowed hard, staring up at him, my voice coming out in a croak. But isn't death evil? Because you don't seem evil. Death's eyes, those swirling, infinite eyes, don't waver.
Death isn't evil, Michael. Death just is.
I fall to my knees, tears streaming down my face. Then, where's God in all this? Where was he when I needed him? If life is such a gift, then why didn't he save me? My voice cracks, a question that had been burning inside me for so long. Death's eyes doesn't waver.
You question God, but did you ever call out to him? Did you cry for help? Or did you bury yourself in anger and despair? You built walls so high, Michael, that even his light could not reach you. Yet even now, you are not forsaken. That's why I am here, Michael. If you believe in nothing, you go to nothing. And look where you are at now. There are rules, but mercy still exists for those who seek it.
Mercy? I spit, my voice cracking. Where was mercy when everything was taken from me?
Mercy comes to those who endure. You sought escape, not mercy. You refuse to endure. Maybe I have something that will help you understand.
The shadows around us twist and warp. I stand my ground to get ready for another trip into his eyes. I brace myself and suddenly, I'm no longer alone. I gasped as I saw my father standing there, looking younger than he did in the last time I saw him. Healthier, like a vision from a time long lost. Dad? I whisper, my heart shattering all over again. He smiles, his warmth cutting through the cold of the room.
I've been waiting, son.
You're here. I stammer, tears flowing freely. In Purgatory?
I asked him to let me stay and wait for you.
My father says, looking at death, then back at me.
I saw your future, Michael. It wasn't supposed to end this way. You are meant for more. You're supposed to touch the hearts of many.
What do you mean? I thought I was dead. I choked out. Confusion overwhelmed me. My dad kneels down in front of me, his eyes filled with sorrow.
That's the thing, son. You're not dead.
What? How am I here then? I asked, my voice trembling. He takes a deep breath.
I saw what you were about to do, and I couldn't let it end like that. I reached out to Death himself, and he agreed to bring you here, to show you what you've lost and what you still have back in life.
Death's voice echoes, low and steady.
You are meant to do great things, Michael. And your father asked me to consider giving you one last chance. But know this, if you return, you will carry the weight of this choice for the rest of your life. The gift of life is precious. Do not squander it again.
I collapse, overwhelmed. The weight of my emotions, too much to bear. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve to go back, I whispered. I'm sorry. Death looks at me, his eyes still rapidly swirling with galaxies.
No one truly deserves life, Michael, but it is given nonetheless. Will you accept it?
I look up at my father, his face full of love and hope, tears streaming down my face, my heart aching. I will try. No. I will do better, Dad. Death nods slowly.
Then go and live well. And remember, I am not your enemy, but I will come for you again when the time is right.
The world around me begins to fade, and I can now see the stars in the ceiling of my bedroom. The stars and galaxies are heading towards me at full speed. Light has turned my bedroom brighter than white. I cannot see, but I can only hear my father's voice. It was the last thing I heard, a whisper full of love.
I believe in you, my dear son.
I cannot see, but I felt him. I embraced my father for the last time. The darkness gives way to light, and I feel myself drifting, my body heavy as I return to the world that I try to leave behind. I weakly awoke, my arms trembling, feeling drained of all life. I was still floating. The rope was still wrapped around my neck. I choked, struggled to breathe. I swayed gently in the dark. My chest burned, my vision blurred, and everything just felt off. Desperation kicked in. No. Resolve. The will to live has taken over me. I immediately thought of something clever. The rope was old. If I apply maximum tension, the rope will break. I took action. I swung my body back and forth using whatever strength I had left. I swung like a swing set at a kid's playground. Every time I applied down force, I suffocate even more, but I heard the rope tear. I need to survive. My will is now stronger than ever. Right before I lost my vision, the rope finally snapped. I crashed into a stack of moving boxes. I raised my head, gasping for airs, popping my joints, and a lot of groaning. My whole body ached. Like every inch of me was buzzing like TV static. It took what felt like forever to regain my senses. I remember everything that happened in limbo with my father and death itself. If my father knows that I'll be able to change my future, I must believe that. When I finally got up, I noticed the mess I made. One of the boxes had been labeled Mod Tech Company, my old well-paid job. Its contents were scattered across the floor. Papers, files, pieces of my past, and a picture of me and my beautiful fiancée. My eyes landed on my work contract. I don't know why, but something made me pick it up. Maybe out of spite. I started reading, flipping through the pages until I saw something that I'd never noticed before. No way. I gently scratched my head to start using my brain. I'm good at complex AI systems. I'm sure I could figure something out here. So after reading everything, including fine prints, terms and conditions, all that kind of things, I always save a copy of every document I had, and I'm glad I did. This paid me back really good. I found something. So what I found, it's called a clawback clause. It said that if any financial fraud was uncovered, the executives would have to return every bonus and stock options they'd taken. My mind raced. I remembered the whispers of how the CEOs and his cronies had been manipulating the numbers for years. They stole millions, and it was all there, hiding in plain sight. From that moment on, I knew what I had to do. I built my case, gathering more evidence with my lawyer, and luckily, I met an anonymous whistleblower who was directly contacted with the CEO. And they were the key to expose everything. Here's a short story. The company had to pay back what they stole, and the corrupt executives were dragged into court, and they were all jailed. And in the chaos, the board needed someone they could trust to lead the company back from the brink. After many votes from the new board because of the persuasion from my old colleagues, they chose me. I know how AI works, and it's going to help millions. I started another company. It's not just a mental health program, it's something more. I don't call it therapy because that word still carries too many barriers. The stigma around mental health, the lack of access, affordability, and the belief that we should handle our problems on our own. So I created something different. It's more of a companion to humans who are mourning and not yet ready to move on. It's an AI-based app called The Weight of Silence. It's 100% free. The inspiration came from my father and death. I lost my father, but I found old recordings of his physical form and his voice. I took those memories and feed them to this app. Now, when I need him most, I can hear him and even see my dad again, offering me advice like he used to. It was as if we were having one more phone call, one more conversation. And this isn't just for me. Anyone can use it. People can hear their loved ones again, and with the help of AI, get advice on tackling life's challenges and find closure. This isn't about replacing therapy. It's about reaching out to those who feel, as I once did, trapped, hopeless, and ready to give up. I made it my mission to heal the damage that I caused to myself and to those around me. To my beautiful wife, Rachel, you're my rock, my grace. I love you, honey. Now, as CEO, I'm not here just for the company, but for the people, for you, for all of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, let this moment be on camera. I want the world and the viewers on YouTube to hear the story because it matters. I know what it's like to hit rock bottom. Fair warning, this next part is graphic, but it's important because it might help someone listening. I nearly ended my life, and when I did, I met death face to face, and he gave me a second chance. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened and how I got here on this stage talking to you right now. My name is Michael, and this is my story.
Good night, farewell, and remember, don't get lost in the dark.